When you think of your group of friends, do you label one as the boss and another one as the artist and another one as the athlete? Now, you probably have your own labels, but even if you don't, chances are your friends have applied one label or another to you. Yes, to you. The way people label you is directly correlated with the way you speak and act. In other words, it has to do with the way you communicate. Now, the good news is that you are in control of your communication style and thus how people label you. The bad news is that you will be judged on not only what you say, but how you say it. So the next time you're tempted to throw a hissy fit when you don't get your way, or to bark orders, or to suck up to someone, think again. Is this really the type of communication style that you want people to remember you by? In this video, we're going to look at a few common communication styles, which will give you a basis for thinking about your own communication style and how you would like people to label you. Now's the time to grab a warm beverage and get all cozy. Maybe even pull out a pen and paper while we're at it. I think you're going to like this one. What is up, Explearners? Mary Daphne here of myexplearning.com, where we believe social skills are the key to the good life. Now, what's the good life? It's where you call the shots, you have a crew you can count on, and you, my friend, are on a mission that you care about. Today, we're looking at 6 common communication styles. Many people have a primary and secondary style, and you may even have a tertiary style if a situation calls for it. As you make your way through this lesson, I encourage you to figure out which are your primary, secondary, and tertiary communication styles. And here's a bit of great news. Your communication styles are not set in stone. We believe in the growth mindset here at Explearning, which means we're always looking for ways to improve on the things that we're struggling with, and that includes our communication styles. Also, be sure to stick around to the end where I go into the communication styles that you'll want to improve on if you're an entrepreneur or a career-driven individual, which is basically all of you, right? All right, so on to the 6 communication styles. The first one is the fighter. The fighter communication style is just as it sounds. This is when the person tends to be aggressive with what they say and how they say it. They tend to be combative and seem as though they're spoiling for a fight. They love stirring the pot, so to speak, and make sharp jabs at others, even though they frame it as just a joke or that was said in jest. So watch out for aggressive nonverbals in body language and tone of voice. And another major giveaway is the use of sarcasm. Don't confuse the fighter style with someone who is standing up for their beliefs. You can stand up for what you believe in without doing it in a combative or hostile or aggressive way. The fighter is more interested in asserting their dominance than representing what is important to them. The next one is the trailblazer. In literal terms, a trailblazer is someone who goes out into the woods and opens up new paths for other people to walk on. It's definitely hard work, and the people using the trail don't even realize the path has been cut for them. In the context of communication styles, the trailblazer is a leader. It's someone who's confident, committed, and ready to sail in uncharted territories to achieve their goal. A trailblazer tends to employ assertive language that demonstrates both their poise and responsibility. Whereas the fighter attacks people, the trailblazer lifts people up and they're inclusive of people. For example, if they notice that one person in the conversation has not been able to speak, they're going to invite them in to share their thoughts. You'll find that trailblazers tend to be more direct and straight shooters. They'll say what they mean and they'll mean what they say, where there's not much beating around the bush or walking on eggshells. So we're big fans of trailblazers at Explearning. They tend to be a good force for humanity. So we really hope to foster more of them, and we'll be actually diving a little bit deeper into the assertive communication that trailblazers employ in a future video. So be sure to check that out when it comes out. All right, the third one is the pleaser. The pleaser is essentially a sycophant. They are predisposed to going along with everything and are highly susceptible to groupthink. Their goal is to please someone that they deem influential in order to better secure their own status. To do so, they put themselves first and willingly pretend to be nice, to agree, to be impressed, if they think it'll garner favor for them. Now, some ways to spot a pleaser is when someone is giving compliments that lack genuine sincerity. They also appear submissive and rarely express an opinion of their own. Watch out for the pleaser because they might be working their charms on you without you even noticing. The next one's the empath. The empath is a wonderful person to be around. They are active listeners and they communicate with empathy. This is a person with whom you are free to express your private thoughts and personal stories. You can tell them about shameful or embarrassing experiences without fear of judgment. They're the people we turn to when we need comfort. They have big hearts and they wear it on their sleeve. And most importantly, they seem to just get it. Whatever it is that you are expressing. This is because they understand what you're feeling, even if they don't understand why you're feeling it. The world needs more empaths, so I highly encourage you to foster this part of you. The next one's the hog. The hog is someone who always makes everything about themselves. They tend to express their opinions or concerns without listening to others. They come off as narcissistic and self-absorbed because they use a lot of me or I language, but they'll be the first person to point fingers if they have an issue with something because, of course, they're not to blame. Duh. So watch out for when a hog says that they had a boring time. That usually is an indication that the conversation wasn't about them. So they tend to seek out social situations where they are the center of attention. You can think of the hog as the person with the loudest voice in the room. They like to think of themselves as the alpha. And what happens when there's another alpha in the room, you ask? You can bet your last dollar that they're going to duke it out for the primo spot. The last one, the harmonizer. Now, the final communication style that we're going to discuss in this video is the harmonizer. So this communication style is all about seeking equilibrium. They are the peacekeepers of the social situation. During the heat of an argument, they won't take sides. Instead, they focus on diffusing the situation. They can see all sides of a conflict and their goal is to reach a consensus. They talk people off the ledge. They might be soft-spoken, but they can also be quite magnetic in nature. In many ways, they are the opposite of the fighter. So they can be super handy to have around when you have a tough conversation coming up. Well, there you have it, a few of the most common communication styles. So let's quickly recap. The fighter is aggressive and ready to do battle. The trailblazer is assertive and inclusive. The pleaser will say anything to curry favor with their target. The empath is the person who always gets you and makes you feel better. The hog is only happy when the subject is themselves. And the harmonizer seeks equilibrium and consensus. Remember, people are complex beings. Many of us have multiple communication styles that we use depending on the context. Now, the trick is learning what styles you are most predisposed to and which you want to express the most. The right combination can have a huge positive impact on your well-being and your career. And speaking of which, here is your bonus insight. Now, in the professional arena, the 3 communication styles that will get you furthest are empath, trailblazer, and harmonizer. Now, they don't have to be in that order. And in fact, I do encourage you to think about which of those will be your primary, secondary, and tertiary communication style. And only you can decide that because you know your life and you know your needs, right? But communication styles that emulate these categories will ensure that you get the respect, admiration, and love that you deserve. Now that you have a much better understanding of our common communication styles, I would love to hear what you think. What communication styles do you hope to get better at? Which do you think are the most important for the health of your relationships and just overall general happiness? Share whatever is on your mind with us in the comments down below. And if you loved this lesson, please be sure to let me know. You can give this video a thumbs up on YouTube, and if you haven't done so already, subscribe to join our tribe of Explearners so that you never miss a lesson. And if you ring that bell, you'll get notified about the brand new lessons coming your way and our weekly live streams. Email this video to a friend or a coworker who also wants to supercharge their social skills. And, while we're at it, feel free to also share this video with your friends on Facebook. And remember, the write-ups of these lessons are always available on our blog at myexplearning.com. With that, have an awesome week, Explearners. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you next time for your next Explearning lesson. Happy Explearning!